The Sega Master System can perhaps be described as the forgotten 8-bit console. Released initially in Japan, October 20th, 1985, as the very sci-fi sounding Mark III, the console was exported to the US in September 1986 and continued to be supported in the US up to 1992, selling a total 2 million units by the end of its life. A decent number, but still, it just couldn't compare to the almost total popularity of the NES and its 34 million units sold by the end of its life. The Master System itself is powered by a Zilog Z80A CPU running at 4 MHz with 8 kilobytes of RAM and 16 kilobytes of VRAM, outputting in 256 by 192 resolution with 32 on-screen colors courtesy of the Yamaha YM2602B VDP graphics chip, that's a mouthful, with sound handled by a Yamaha SN76489. However, if you had the Japanese model, you could have gotten a Yamaha YM2413, creating those really good FM synth soundtracks. Here's a little sample for you. There were a few different models of the Master System. There was the Mark III, which was only released in Japan, so good luck getting your hands on that. Then there's the initial US version, referred to as the Power Base, giving off that futuristic appliance vibe. Later on, you could get a condensed version called the Master System 2, though it lacks the card input. Now, that really is all in terms of hardware revisions, with two important caveats. Game Gear, which is essentially just a portable version of the Master System, albeit with a very small screen and abysmal battery life, and the various consoles that continued to be manufactured in Brazil. All of these versions cost different amounts of money on the secondhand market, so honestly, take your pick. I got my Power Base for $80, but expect prices to fluctuate depending on quality, if it comes with games. I ended up gunning for a Power Base just for the card input. This, of course, allows for the use of Sega cards, of which there are few. I don't even have any. As well as the light phaser and 3D glasses and a few other peripherals that require the use of the card input. There are a good amount of games, but since the Master System was far less popular than the NES, you likely will have to pay a bit more for them. And naturally, here are a few of my favorites. Now, there are multiple ways of playing Master System games. In terms of emulators, I recommend Kega Fusion, which is also compatible with other Sega consoles like the Game Gear, the SG-1000, the Genesis. If you want actual hardware, you still don't even need a Master System. You could buy a power-based converter and add on for the Sega Genesis, though it doesn't have 100% compatibility. There's also this thing for the Retron 5, but it's like $50-$60, so honestly, you're better off emulating it or just shelling out the cash for an actual console. So, is the Master System worth buying or not? Well, I'd say yes, but it can be a bit pricey to get a few choice games. It's a bit more of a collector's system than, say, the NES. If you're wanting retro 8-bit goodness on the cheap, the NES is most certainly the better option. But the Master System does have a good amount of games, so the choice is yours.